Stands for, Terry?
Capital Improvements Committee.
Okay, and I think, did you want to make some introductory comments, Sam?
Yeah, just get started. I know we have some people, some newer faces in the crowd. I just wanted to go over quick. This is an informational meeting. There is, as a public meeting laws, we, public comment is not allowed. If we do have a question, if our board or committee has a question for people in our different department heads, we will address questions directly to you. Other than that, that's where the conversation is limited to. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our committee co-chair, Sari, and go ahead.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to today's Capital Improvements Committee. I want to start off first by welcoming our acting Chief Executive Officer, Peter Studo, and our Chief Operating Officer, Don O'Donnell, to your first Capital Improvements Committee meeting. So we appreciate your leadership here, and I will look forward to getting started. We have a full agenda. If I could have a motion to approve our minutes from the August 8th meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second, Janet, thank you. Great. So for our terminal expansion project updates, I'm going to turn it over to our new Chief Executive Officer to lead us team through.
Okay, thank you. And I'm happy to direct this to the staff members. We work as a team here, and we've been meeting. John's been meeting probably 3/4 of his time on the construction projects. And I pop in and out, but he keeps me briefed on that. We've been meeting with Mike Zonzius on all the budgetary stuff, and there's going to be some presentations on that today. Now we're going to get started with, and this is going to be all the staff that does the work. So, but we'll direct it and try to get it to you in an orderly manner. As you can see on the agenda, we've approved the minutes. We're going to talk about the terminal expansion project and project status. We'll leave that to John LeClaire, our airport engineer.
Okay, so project status for the terminal expansion. The contractor is currently working on rerouting some utilities to make room to put in the new elevator when elevator 6 gets moved. Outside by the garage, you can see them pouring concrete for the new elevators shafts for the garage side. They're still pouring concrete for pile caps. The structural steel crane, the crane to set the structural steel is scheduled to be here later in the month and will be set up and get ready to, it has to be put together. It comes in many pieces to put it together, and we'll get that set up and just get that moving forward. We hope to be setting steel early October.
Okay, thank you, John. On contracts, Christine Quinn.
Thank you. At this time, we don't have any new contracts or any amendments to existing contracts affecting the project.
Okay, thank you. Back to John LeClaire, change orders.
So for the change orders, there are several different items we're working with Turner and MLB to iron out, but there will be no change order action items for this upcoming board meeting.
Thank you. Project communication, Steve Smith.
In terms of communications on the project, continuing to put videos out there, foundation work, pile caps, elevator shaft, as you can see, has been poured out, some concrete pours in the elevator shaft. These are just clips of some of the videos that have been out there. You may have noticed on social media that video went out the other day with the Concourse A fly-through, just getting people ready to be prepared for temporary walls that'll be being erected there, probably by October 1st. Passengers can expect to see some prep work taking place. Continue to assess our signage. This new sign will be coming. It's already on order. This will be for the ride share area and the old loading dock. Just reminding people that it's immediate pickup only, not staging. We have several road taxis that have been hanging out in that area, and some of the drivers eventually got in confrontation with each other, fighting for fares. So we've got security on that. We're going to be putting up some signs. The latest with Pointer, if you remember Pointer is the app clip that will be implemented here at the airport within the next month or so. They were on site earlier this week doing a walkthrough with Kerry Blanchard and I to assess where we're going to put in the beacons. This will be a wayfinding app clip that will allow people to navigate through construction. And once construction is complete, have a 3D map of the terminal for wayfinding. A lot of stuff on social media. We've got some interviews with the news media, including Beth from Turner. Concourse A is out there. Foundation works. A lot of constant reminders about how to navigate through the terminal. The website has been updated with the latest on the construction project. And happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the board? Yes, Tom?
So John, at the last CIC meeting and at the last board meeting, just to repeat the question I asked at those meetings in terms of timing.
Yes, sir.
You know, I know it's the $100 million question, but you know, I think it's been important that we've been transparent with the public in terms of what we expect for the completion date for this project. At the last meeting, board meeting on the 12th and the CIC meeting before that, reps from Turner said that it looked like we were still on line for October of 25, as well as, you know, and then there might be some other issues to come. And I know that it's not a firm, it's hard to make it a firm, but I think we need to be, you know, just honest as part of this process in terms of, you know, where we're at. Because initially when this project was first proposed, you know, there was a certain timeline.
Yes.
Then there was a formal announcement of state funding in August, which gave a 2-year timeline for completion. And we were told at the time when the board approved this project that we needed to complete this project within 2 years, within 24 months to satisfy terms of that agreement. That was addressed at the last meeting, that there were conversations with DOT and there's understanding of the timeline. So I just want to be, you know, forthcoming with, you know, kind of where things stand.
Yeah, if I could intervene a little bit. John's been studying that issue and I'll let him respond. I'm not sure he quite has his arms around the answer to that question, but it's a very important answer. And
Yeah,
John?
yeah, I've been studying the construction project very closely over the last couple of days. And what I like to do is be offered the opportunity to present scheduling in probably 1 week's time. There's some things that I need to discuss with the board in executive session with regard, you know, potential contractual changes regarding the schedule. Whenever we do make any modification of that nature, it's a contract. I know it might not seem like it is, but it is an actual contractual requirement for all the contracts that have been executed to be done on a certain day. If they're not done, there are penalties. So we're not prepared to present publicly any changes at this time because I do want to have your input in executive session to discuss the details that we're going to be looking at.
Right. We're going to, just on a technical matter, we're going to be talking about particular contractors because that plays into it. So that's our basis for going into executive.
All right, and I think it's fair, John. I know you're just getting your arms around everything, obviously. So I appreciate that, and I'm willing to defer, you know, pressing that question until we have all more information available.
Very short.
But just, you know, say it publicly, just so we're all on the same page here. You know, this has been something that, you know, we've been pretty consistently asking. You know, so I'm not going to not ask it. So
Right.
Just expect that every meeting we have.
We welcome that.
No,
This
we're-
question's going to get asked.
We welcome that question.
Short order, you have your answers.
Okay, on to the next agenda item. Number 3 is the Terminal A Concourse Project and Gate Expansion Updates. And both project status and project plans are for John LeClaire.
Okay, so for Terminal A, AOW was the contractor that got the project, is selected for the project, was awarded to them. They began mobilizing on Monday. They have a subcontractor doing site work. J.H. Malloy will be doing that. They've got their barricades down. They're getting their equipment in. They're bringing in their trailers. And they've done some layout inside the terminal for the partition walls, which will be going up in about a week and a half. Meanwhile, our people have to move some cameras, and we have some smoke heads and things like that we'll work with them to get arranged when we put up the temporary wall. So they're in and they're getting going. They're getting started to get their feet wet.
Any questions on that?
I have a brief question.
Sure.
So Michael, this is for you, just in terms of project financing. So initially, we applied for a federal grant that we thought might cover the entire cost of this project. And we found out the award was $10 million. So I'm just curious if you could just, you know, remind us and the satisfaction of our new staff here, kind of what our plan is with regards to financing this project.
The remaining portion will be funded with PFC's passenger facility charges. We had a consultation meeting with the airlines. You have to do that for the application, PFC application. That was already done. It was reviewed with the FAA. It's now the application. We expect to submit it. They have not had any comments. We expect to submit it within the next week.
So in terms of the right now, project cost, total project cost per A, what's the total amount right now?
Approximately 23 million.
And then how much money do we have in PFC? How much PFC money do we have available to us?
PFC money, it's, we do have approximately $7 million in PFCs. However, those are for the debt service for the next 2 years. We will collect the remaining amount as we go forward. We receive approximately $6 million in passenger facility charges every year. Now, so we will expect to use those for the project. Now, we do have other projects that we also have. It is very possible that we may have to have some type of bridge financing late next year in order to bridge the financial gap between how much we have got in PFCs and how much we will get in the future. I mean, our PFCs right now go for collection 6 years, 2033 at $6 million.
So we have $10 million in, is that AIP money? Is that, or what was that?
ATP,
Say it again?
ATP.
ATP money. And then, so we have $7+ million in the bank in PFC money. And then the plan is to then expend future PFC monies. But in order to make the project work, we're talking about some sort of short-term debt, some sort of short-term financing. Now, that's new to us. That's the first time I've heard that's how we're gonna do some bridge financing. So I'm glad, I want to get the full story in terms of how we're gonna finance the project. So when we first initially went about it, it was going to be, we thought it was going to be totally funded by a grant. And so now we're looking at some other mechanics, and it's fine. I just want to be clear in terms of, so we all have the same sheet of music in terms of how we're going to pay for the project.
Sure, the remaining amount will be PFC charges. And we do have, there's a portion that will be funded 1.7 million by rates and charges. The reason is because the entire project, the eligibility, we have concession space in that. The FAA will not fund concession space. We do that on a square footage basis. We went through that, and we went through those machinations with the FAA.
We talked about PFC at the last meeting, so appreciate that clarification.
Yep.
So in other words, we're talking 10.6 federal money, 14.4 PFC money, and the rest airport money, roughly 1.7 million.
That is correct. It's probably a little bit less than the PFCs. The reason why we are looking at PFCs, though, I mean, we look whether bridge financing is needed or not, is because we have a terminal apron project out there for $22 million. The hope is, and sorry, I haven't said this before, but the hope is that we will get discretionary funding for that. That then would relieve $22 million in PFCs that we could use for this project, which would eliminate the need for bridge financing.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Michael for that. And just to let you know, John and I have been coming at him at a lot of different angles on the financing, and his answers have been consistent and illuminating. So I think he's doing a good job so far.
Thanks, Michael.
He's been very forthcoming. Yep.
That said, the application is going in within the week. We should receive notification from the FAA in 30 days. So once that happens, I can start to sleep.
Yeah, appreciate the work of the staff on the grants too. I mean, that's something that, we're constantly working on bringing in money. Connor, your team, the finance team here, obviously going out trying to get as many of these competitive grant awards as possible. So that's key.
That it for that one? Okay. We have a number of other items there, miscellaneous capital projects. They're really old Johns, but we'll go through them one by one. I think it's good for the record and so everybody understands it. Terminal elevator replacement.
Okay, so the terminal elevator replacement is being funded through grant money. We have elevators 9, 10, and 11 in the terminal are going to be the first three replaced. Those replacement units are being manufactured right now. My latest delivery date from Kone is at the end of October. So we have to be very careful when we take them out of service, which one we take out. We'll do them one at a time. Take them out of 1, 2, and 3, which are the ones for the garage. We're not going to be able to touch until the new elevators at 4 and 5 are put back in the garage. So that'll be next year. And then I'm currently working with Kone to do elevator 7, which is in our loading dock area. It's a substandard elevator that we're going to bring up to almost freight elevator size and weight handling. So that'll be a big boom for us. We don't really have a freight elevator, so that'll be the upgrade there.
Thank you. And please jump in because we're going to tick through these, but please stop us if you have any questions. Access gates.
So the access gates, they're all done. We just finished the ones at the air traffic control tower. The only reason it stayed on is because there will be a change order at the next board meeting for a final closeout. It's a plus minus closeout change order for to close that contract out, and that'll be done.
Air traffic control tower projects.
Air traffic control tower project is the heating and ventilation for the mechanical part of the air traffic control. Colette is the mechanical contractor. We spoke with them on Monday. They expect to have everything installed except for the 3rd floor unit, which has not been delivered. That will come in the middle of October. So they'll work till the end of September, take a break. With the FAA's concurrence, the FAA techs, their heating will be available. And then middle of October, they'll get the last unit they need, and they'll be done by the end of October. In the meantime, they've agreed with the FAA, both the tower and the tech ops, to supply temporary heat as needed.
Thank you. Runway 119 rehab and South Perimeter Road update.
Okay, not a lot of change on that one. The contract's been awarded to Callahan. As we've spoke before, that's going to be, the work is going to be deferred till next year. We are currently working with the FAA and CNS engineering to add parts of the Mauser system, which is currently being rebuilt. We're doing the threshold bar and the 200-foot bar as part of that contract. And once that design is final, I'll get it. There'll be a small change order for that from Callahan to get that priced up and get that included as part of their work.
There's a little jargon in there. Does everybody know what the Mausers are?
So the Mausers are all the lights that you see when you drive down the road. You see those ones on the tree stands that look like Bullwinkles with all the 5 lights and all. Those are the Mauser lights. And those orange ones we're not touching. We're trying to. Connor and I are working to get a grant with the FAA to replace them. They're in need of replacement. The FAA is aware, and we're working to get that done sooner or later. But the threshold bars are the green lights you see right on the end of the runway as you drive by at night. You'll see those, the whole row of those green lights. That's what we're talking about.
Sorry.
Our last meeting, we had a very nice explanation from our pilot.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I wasn't there. Yeah.
They lead you in bad weather too,
Right. Exactly.
or at night even.
Okay. Any questions on that? Jet bridges, A6 and B6 replacement?
Airfield lighting controls. Just skip that one.
Yeah. Okay. Please go into
Lighting
that.
controls. We currently have Eaton Krause Hines, who's the supplier and the installer. They are scheduled for the 3rd week of September. They tell me it'll take 2 weeks to get the new system put in and get the FAA people trained. We are waiting for them. We have the airport has all the wiring and communication cables, and we're ready. We're waiting for them. So they're scheduled, and we'll get that in and have that one. That'll close out quickly.
Okay. Thank you. Next. Was there a question? No. Jet bridges, A6 and B6 replacement.
Correct. That was a project that I put out for bid. That will be an action item at the next board meeting to award that to VRH. They're a company out of New Jersey. They came in as a low bidder. We had 2 bidders on that one. They came in as the low bidder, and I'll bring that to the board. We'll get it going, and we'll order up the 2 bridges. Lead time right now is 3 to 4 months for jet bridge manufacturer. We're hoping to get those going as soon as possible. Those can be done in the wintertime, so that'll be good. We'll get them. I want to get A6 done before we get to that point with A concourse work, so I can have that ready as a useful bridge.
So lead time, you're talking 3 to 4 months. Is that for it to be ordered and delivered or installation?
Ordered and delivered. Installation takes approximately 2 to 3 weeks for each one.
The car rental facility.
So the car rental facility, the authority put out an RFQ for an engineering company to do a feasibility study. The rental cars have long been, they're on the first floor of the north garage, and they've always looked, they're doing good business. They're looking to gain more space. So I'm gonna put a feasibility study out with an engineering company, have them really take a good look at it to decide, how to move forward with this, to keep them active and working, but not cut ourselves short either. So, once we get that, that'll be an action item with the board too.
That's out.
The RFQ is out, yes. We have not, we got proposals, but we have not reviewed it in committee and Britain. So once that's done, we'll bring it to the board.
Mauser lights.
Basically as I told you, the Mauser lights, it's the remaining part of those lights. Connor and I have been working with the FAA. We're trying to get funding for that. It looks like maybe next year we can get that done. And then if that's the case, we get that out. We're hoping if we can jump on somebody else. The FAA funds different airports over different years. We're hoping somebody falls short and we can grab their funding. If that's the case, I'm going to try and roll it into the Callahan contract and have them do it all at one time and get it done if we can pull that off. I don't know. We're going to try. It's probably not going to happen, but it's worth a shot. He's huffing.
Absolute latest replacement has been indicated by the FAA as spring 2026. So it would just be bringing it up 1 year.
Just bring it ahead a little bit.
But they are confirmed as of right now, spring 2026 is the latest they will start the replacement. So
How are we until that point? I know we've had some discussions about
they
the
understand.
quality of what you're
Yeah, most
working with.
definitely. They understand the condition, right? I mean, we have local tech ops, FAA tech ops representatives that do go out there fairly frequently to understand how the condition is deteriorating and to ensure that they can ensure that the current system remains stable.
Yeah.
Until you can.
I think the escalation of the schedule is understanding that is not going to be achievable within the next few years to remain the current system to remain stable. So that's why we're trying to, push it as much as possible, expedite it. So.
The transformer project,
The
John?
last one is the transformer. So the transformer is an upgrade project. We currently have 2 transformers by A Concourse that have been there since, we call it 79 buildings, so since 79. They're due to be upgraded. We're not only upgrading them as far as replacing their size, they're 10 kVs. We're going to switch to 25 kVs, which is a pretty good upside. What that'll allow us to do is any future developments, any additions we make, it'll give us the additional power there that we need to power up everything and keep running, so we can add things, even jet bridges, whatever heating system, whatever controls we add to it, that'll be things that we can add on. But the other thing is grid is not real happy with where the transformers are now because they're underneath a overpass, and that's out of compliance with their tech specs. So we're working with them, final design to get that done.
Okay, anything else under that whole category, capital project updates? Any questions? Oh, okay. On to planning, which is Connor's our planner. The master plan, Connor, can you talk about that?
Yes, sir. Just with the timing, we are going to bring the formal adoption of the master plan. We want to bring it to the October board meeting, if that is okay with the committee and the board, just due to the timing of everything that's a quick update.
John, do you want to say anything on that?
I've had opportunity to review it. I'd like to get into it a little bit further.
Yes.
I believe it's been approved by the FAA.
That's
so
correct. And
I think it's in good shape, but I still want to have opportunity to add some verbal comments, even though there might not be anything that's any material changes.
Okay. Thank you. NYSERDA, can you tell us what NYSERDA is?
Yep.
Most people know, but.
really quick, yeah. So that's the state authority for energy research and development. We are working with them currently on our geothermal design for the terminal facility itself. That is fully funded, 100% funded by NYSERDA for the design. Matt Moki has been working with their team pretty diligently on getting that design underway. We are looking for about a year timeline, so we're expecting 100% design to be concluded about July. And currently, I'm going to be working on aligning funding for the actual construction of it. The funding is probably going to come more from federal sources. The state is primarily only funding design at this point for facilities within our area. So I'll be coordinating both with FAA and DOE for funding for the future construction.
And some of that funding is related to the Inflation Reduction Act funding, right, at the federal level. So so the state's still looking for money to come to cascade down from the feds.
Of course,
And then we're trying to put ourselves in a position to line up so that when that money's available at the state level, that we're in line for some sort of funding.
I talk with with our representative for NYSERDA about every other week about that, and they have been coordinating. They understand what our timeline is, and as the design progresses, we're going to have a better understanding of the cost and probably the feasibility of how that funding versus state split will happen. So, trying to keep on top of it as much as possible.
Okay, any other substantive questions? Okay.
Think
John,
we need- oh, go ahead.
You're welcome.
No.
Yeah,
Well, I was just gonna say, I think we need a motion to go into executive session.
yeah. John and I would like to talk to you about a couple of the corporations, in particular corporations. That's the rubric for the open meetings law to go into executive session. So if we could entertain a motion to do that. Second. All those in favor? Okay. We'd like to ask everybody to leave except for John. We're not going to take any votes coming out of this, but we have 2 more committee meetings after.
Yes, we'll